like right now.
Hey, at least you tell me this time. Go.
Yes,
And we're live.
Yeah, a little late. We didn't want to get started without Jordan. He was running behind, so our 7 o'clock start, 10 p.m. start.
You don't need to know the background. You don't need to know the background, Jacob. You don't gotta call me out like that.
It's technical difficulties on my part. Definitely was not waiting on Jordan at all. He was here on time. He is definitely not the reason we are starting 27 minutes late tonight.
Thank you.
Jordan is very punctual.
Well, I was ready 26 minutes ago, so that seventh one's your fault.
20. Okay. Well, the point.
So if you were ready 26 minutes ago, but we were supposed to go live 27 minutes ago, that means you were late.
The important thing here to know is that I had nothing to do with this, and I'm
I think Jordan is still adjusting to his new time zone, so we'll have to forgive him when it comes to anything time related.
I don't like it.
He and I are on the same time zone now, so there's no excuse for me to miss trivia. Therefore, I actually have to defend my Picks and List championship. I can't use time zones as an excuse anymore. I can't be the Roman Reigns of Picks and List trivia.
As long as Steve Mace is not playing, am I right?
I didn't say it.
Yeah, you did. You private messaged me about. Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind. That was a private message.
I didn't say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
But
Steve Mason, if you want to come on Lonely Marks, don't feel free. No, just kidding. Oh man. Anyway,
we had a wrestling show about a week ago. Money in the Bank. It's a very, very small pay-per-view. Only 6 matches booked. 7 matches happened, as we will get to. But we'll breeze through this real quick. We've also got our top 10 matches of the year so far. Jordan likes doing these because we just did a top 10 movies of the year so far on his channel yesterday. So go check that out. That was a fun time as well.
You can see live on air. You can see the moment where Jacob spoils Wardlow's title win. You can see my reaction.
Oh my god! Oh man!
Well, he mentioned title changes being spoiled, and it was Wednesday, so I just assumed it was the TNT.
No, I got spoiled the Cora Jade Roxanne women's SAG titles on Facebook by a friend. You're like, oh yeah, okay, you assumed that was Wardlow.
Yeah, I just assumed that you were talking about the one that happened that day. So. My apologies for that.
Shout out to Wardlow.
Well, I think the most important thing here is I believe I won the predictions. But anyway, we can go.
I'm not sure you did win the predictions because
Liv Morgan, thank you.
Yeah, but I was the we'll get to it, but I believe I was the only one who had the United States Championship match, right? Anyway, we'll get into it. First match, Liv Morgan. Taking home the Money in the Bank briefcase, defeating Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Raquel, Rodriguez, and Shotzi. Again, Nick, we're just going to keep this quick and short. I think this was a fine pay-per-view overall. I thought this was a fine match, fun way to kick off the show. That feel-good moment with Liv Morgan winning the briefcase. She's definitely got the crowd on her side, the fans on her side, and they were happy to see her win. She was happy to, and you know, it's a feel-good moment to open the show. I enjoyed it. So nothing to write home about with this match. Few botches here and there, but that's to be expected in a high-paced ladder match. Not everything can be perfect, but fun way to open the show. Jordan, what do you think?
I'm going to refrain from any actual review segments because I didn't see any of this pretty much. I was on a bus, so I've seen some YouTube.
Oh, you were still on the bus? Oh, that's right. This was a Saturday pay-per-view.
So, yeah, I didn't really see much. But, I mean, I'll give thoughts as far as, like, results and whatnot. So, yeah, as you said, feel good moment here. If you ever seen the backstage interview with her on WWE.com, you know, she's still kind of emotional and whatnot. So, I definitely don't mind the outcome here. You know, I'm always down for someone new. hopefully they run with it for a little bit. If you remember last year, Nikki ASH had her big moment and big win, and now look where she is. And that was only a couple months later that she fell down very quickly. So hopefully Liv has a nice run.
All right, so Richie, you got this right. Jordan picked Becky, I picked Asuka, and of course those two didn't win. I'm not upset that I was wrong about this one. I'm very happy to be wrong on this one. But what were your thoughts on the match?
I didn't. I liked it. Didn't mind it. There was some cool spots here. Shotzi's getting a lot of grief on Twitter. I think she deactivated her account because she had a few botches here, but pretty sure that's a bit unfair considering she wasn't the only one that botched stuff in the match. It was a decent match here. No real like high spots in terms of the ladder match. There was a cool like sunset flip powerbomb. I think Liv Morgan did to somebody. I think maybe Lacey Evans. But yeah, I think it's a cool story that Liv won. She's really over it. Really over now. And I think she's sort of been recognized as one of the more hardest working women in the company and most improved. So yeah, no, it's good. It's a cool story. But the matches just won't make anyone's list of like top Money in the Bank ladder matches, but it's a fine match.
Yeah, this will probably be the only time we talk about this match tonight. I can't say the same thing about another match that happened at the show. Ooh, that's called foreshadowing. Next match, we had Bobby Lashley defeating Theory for the United States Championship. I picked Bobby Lashley to win this, and I'm very happy he did. He deserves to hold the title. I just wish the reason Theory dropped the belt wasn't for events that happened later on in the night, but it is what it is. Another fine match. This could have been a Raw match. Nothing on the pay-per-view felt special, except for a couple moments and like one match in particular for me. But it was a U.S. title match. The title changed hands, and that's pretty much all I have to say about it. The reason Lashley won is not the reason I chose. John Cena did not distract Theory to set up a SummerSlam match. In fact, according to Raw the next night, we're not going to get a Theory Cena match at SummerSlam, which actually surprises me because I thought that's what they were building to. But, I'm wrong again. But Bobby Lashley is our new United States champion. Jordan, what do you think about Bobby Lashley being the new United States champion?
I think he's overselling it a little bit in promos. He's acting like it's a world title win. He's really selling the fact that he's a champ now. But I'm fine with it. I think Bobby's really good. I'm glad to see they're still using him to a degree. The Theory thing, I think that's the only problem to me with the pay-per-view is that it's not necessarily the quality. I think the quality is there. I just think some of the booking, is always off with, Riddle, which we'll talk more about later.
Yeah.
I do wonder this, though. If he's no longer Austin, why does he still say A-Town down? Just throwing that out there. I don't get it.
Is he from Atlanta?
Is he from Atlanta? Let me look that up.
No, whatever. I thought it was because of Austin.
If he is, he was born in an Atlanta suburb, so that could be it. But yeah, if you're gonna lose your first name, you should lose your catchphrase that goes along with it. I agree with you, Jordan. I'm
fine with it.
Yeah. And Richie, I guess I can't remember who you had in this match.
I had Lashley by DQ. So I technically started Lashley. Not in the way. We can debate on it, but yeah, I started Lashley. I didn't expect him to win, but I guess they didn't want. We'll go into it, but I didn't they wanted to free Theory up. I guess. I don't know. He is selling it like he's won the world title. Maybe in kayfabe he's had an issue where he actually thinks it's a world title. Because remember when he won it? What was it like? He won he won a match like pay-per-view recently, and then he held up a replica world title some fan was holding. Maybe so it's like, and I thought that's what they were building towards. I thought because last year's over, I thought okay, that they're building towards him challenging for the title, but then he challenged for the US title.
After he beat Omos in the MVP.
Yeah, maybe he's just pretending. I was like, oh, this is a good consolation prize. Yeah. But yeah, I'm kind of shocked they're not going with Roman Reigns. I mean, and given the injuries, I'm sure they're probably not going with Roman Reigns and Lashley at SummerSlam. That'd be a newish match instead of the Brock Lesnar one. But yeah, no, I mean, this is fine. I do like. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like Bobby. It wasn't that long ago Bobby actually had the US title, so it would have been cool if it was like up and coming mid carder. But I can't expect that now from WWE at this point. But no, it's fine. I don't mind Lashley.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all either, especially since I picked it to happen, and I picked a clean victory. Anyway, the next match we saw was Bianca Belair retaining her Raw Women's Champion over Carmella. Yeah.
There's nothing much to say about this match at all, to be honest.
So Bianca Belair is still your Raw Women's Champion.
There really is nothing.
I think we all saw this coming.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's really anything to report on here.
Yeah, no, I guess the end bit where like Carmella attacked her after the match, like it was a good fake out because you think, oh yeah, Liv's coming out here, and she didn't. So, but it was good. It was a good, yeah, and it was good. You know, it was a good fake out. But yeah, I didn't mind that spot. But yeah, like the match was kind of. I feel like because it was literally like thrown together in the last couple of weeks. It just felt like it was a match that was thrown together last minute. Like there was not much offense by Carmella at all. It wasn't much of a match, and yeah, it was just a way to get Bianca and the title still on the show.
Yeah, it was so random. There was a small part of me that was like, what did they give it to Carmella? Because it just seemed so kind of random and to a degree unnecessary. Like they just needed the Raw Women's Championship on the show, you know, because we haven't seen Carmella in a while. Last time we saw her, she was kind of jobbing in a tag team and getting slapped around. So never a believable person to take the title off her, and it's exactly how it worked out.
And I mean, I'm glad Carmella didn't win because I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch the December member, to be honest. And that's what Austin was threatening. So and he predicted Carmella. So nothing to this match really. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Always good to see Bianca on the card. It's good to see the title on the card. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was watching the first part of this while doing Rankum. So
Okay.
This was one of those matches I glance up every once in a while and get back to talking about Steve Carell and yeah, maybe I'll watch it on the replay, and then I never watched it on the replay. A match that I absolutely was into the entire time and then watched it again on the replay because I thought it was fantastic. Definitely match of the night in my opinion. I don't want to get into it too much right now because you'll see why in a little bit. But
Okay.
The Usos did defeat the Street Profits, retaining the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. I think we all had the Usos in here. But I will say there was a small part of me at one point where I thought the Street Profits were taking this. Which I wouldn't have been upset to be wrong, but man, like this match was great. I'll get into it a little bit later. But Jordan, thoughts on the Usos still being your tag team champions?
Sorry, Small and McNugget.
Oh man.
No, I mean I think they're two great tag teams here. It's no surprise to me to hear that this is a really good match and probably the match to watch on the show. Like that doesn't surprise me, and that's kudos to these two teams. I just think it was simply I don't think any of us would have hated Profits winning the titles, but I think it's just kind of one of those Usos aren't done yet. The whole Usos Roman Reigns, we're not quite done yet. I think it's kind of the only thing here. And I did see someone post this the other day, and I kind of liked it. It was kind of like the idea of it was showing Sean throwing Marty through the barbershop window, but it was Montez Ford as Marty, and I know Montez. I'm sorry, as Sean, and Angelo as Marty. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like that because I've always thought Montez is possibly a future world champion. Well, kudos to Angelo too. He's gotten into better shape recently, and I could see him also being utilized for a little while after. So, not necessarily saying that's where they're going to go at all, but yeah, I've heard it's a good match, and I want to speak out. And yeah, I'm cool with, like you said, if it had gone the other way, but happy with Usos.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, Montez has definitely made his feelings known in like interviews and stuff that he wants to eventually go for the WWE title. So I think it's sort of, even though like WWE split up tag teams a lot, I feel like this may be like they've had a pretty decent run as far as the WWE tag teams go. So I wouldn't be that mad about them splitting them up. But yeah, this was I mean, we'll get into the match when you maybe talk about it later. But yeah, the only thing I'll say is like, I don't know, like you think like if they're the undisputed tag team championship, tag team champions, like wouldn't it be like can't they just create like one belt? Like why do they have to still carry around two things? Okay. I don't know. I guess yeah, it'd be cool if they just had like one belt like the old WWE undisputed title. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like yeah, it's solid. Yeah, I agree though. Match, probably match of the night.
Yeah, I feel like they. Whoa.
You went dark.
There you are. I feel like maybe they will create one title. I feel like it's just random to do it on. Maybe they're waiting for like a big moment, maybe closer to SummerSlam or something. Maybe at SummerSlam. I don't know. But yeah, I agree. One title. So.
Yeah.
All right, and up next, Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Yeah. I'll be honest. This is where I stopped watching. Not because I hate it. Wasn't like in the pay per view. I just, if you do your pay per view, if you do your premium live events on a Sunday like you usually do, I'd have been able to watch the whole thing. If you do them on Saturday when I have plans, it's not a guarantee I'm going to get back to it. I'm sorry. So I didn't watch this match. I did watch. Well, yeah. Let's talk about this match first.
So you don't draft women in your draft, and now you check out when there's a woman match. No, just kidding.
Excuse me. I
totally I know. My argument falls apart.
Richie, how was the match?
It was fine. They worked really pretty well. There was I feel like the crowd doesn't really take to Ronda because I just feel like her personality. I don't know. I'm sure I don't want to. Her personality just fits more of a heel persona. She's just it doesn't really vibe to me as a baby face. Like she definitely kind of is just way too serious sometimes. There was a cool moment though where like she Ronda puts Natalya in a sharpshooter and then does the Shawn Michaels pose and on like I think it's on it was like Bret Hart's birthday or something as well. So it's kind of it was kind of a cool thing. They should work well together. But yeah, it wasn't much. Yeah, it was fine. But yeah, I think the sort of the story of the match is the is the end really. But yeah, this match didn't have a lot of heat, unfortunately. But I think that they did a good job for the time they were given. Yeah, like the story of the match was at the end where like Liv cashed in where Ronda actually could it wasn't actually she was fit and sort of able to, even though she'd been through a match, she wasn't like laid down. She was ready to go, and Liv cashed in. Ronda put her in an ankle lock, and then Liv turned around and kicked her in the knee, which had been sort of quote unquote injured during the match, and then rolled her up and pinned her, and then they hugged at the end. So that's probably the cool moment. I feel like that overshadows the match a lot, but yeah, no, it was I kind of maybe expect Ronda to maybe do a heel turn here and versus Liv at SummerSlam. I'm worried that she's just going to win the title straight back. because whenever WWE put like a title on a new person that's deserving, they never seem to go in a long run. But I hope you're wrong. I want to be wrong. So, but yeah, no, it was a fine match.
You know, Jordan, how do you feel about Liv Morgan being the new SmackDown Women's Champion?
First of all, you guys need to show some respect to Natalya and watch her match, Jacob. How dare you? Claws out. So how dare you?
So you didn't watch the entire show, so
He was on a bus. He was on.
I have an excuse.
you can watch the Peacock on a mobile device.
I tried. I didn't have the app down. If I had the app downloaded, maybe, but I didn't have it downloaded already. I don't watch Peacock.
That makes sense.
No, I like the fact that it was a little bit of a swerve. You know, Liv's not on that show originally, so you know maybe trying not to totally expect it and to take it off Ronda, but she did, and yeah, I'm happy for it. It seems like we're kind of doing away with the brand to a large degree anyway. You know, Walter Gunther was on Raw randomly, and so I don't really think he even care about brands anymore. But like I said, happy to see Liv have it. I just hope that she has a real run with it.
I'm happy Liv finally is a champion. I hated that she cashed in an hour after she won the briefcase because it seems like that's just what they do with the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. You win it, you cash in the same night. There's really they don't run with it, and I kind of wish they would. Like they haven't done that since Carmella. Carmella is the only one to actually hold the briefcase for an extended amount of time.
Yeah, it really does make you wonder. Like, do they just simply not have ideas for the women? Like, okay, she wins, you cashes. Like, that's all they ever have. It seems.
I feel like maybe for for someone who's gonna not cash in for a long period of time, it should be, if you're gonna do that route, it should be a heel because it worked with Camilla because she was like obnoxious with it. It's like, oh, I could get any time, but again, it's like, and then like I don't know. I feel like it's more of a, even though like it's a cool strategy, I think it's more of a heel thing to sort of kind of wait for a more opportune moment kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. Like it'd be nice to see that. I don't know. Maybe next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that to an extent. I mean, RVD made it work as a face. Of course, he told us when he was cashing in, but he made it work. Recently, Big E made it work, being a face and holding the briefcase. So I think faces can make it work, but but yeah, no, I agree. Holding it for an extended amount of time does seem like a heel thing to do, but I just want it to happen at least once with the women's briefcase, just once. Can we, even if it's only a week, just longer than a day, please?
No, I mean you can have fun with it, even as a face. If you shoot your shot, like you said, like an RVD style, or just don't do it completely, kind of chickeny, like you can make it work.
I'm waiting for that. I mean, I'm sure it's going to happen eventually, where someone holds the briefcase for a whole year, and then like it's like, oh, dude, you gotta cash it in now, or we take the briefcase off. Yeah, I think that probably an angle have they haven't done. They'll probably do in the future. I don't know with the women or the men, but yeah, I think that'll probably happen at some point.
Yeah. So with that. Richie did predict Ronda Rousey to win because, who wouldn't? However, he did predict Bobby Lashley by DQ. So there's a little gray area. Jordan, I'm going to leave it up to you. You picked Bobby Lashley to win by DQ. Do we give him the predictions win?
So this is for the win, though?
Yeah, it's for the win.
Did I ever tell you how?
I was going to say yes, but now that it's for the win. No, I would say yes. I don't feel like we've made the caveat yet of like including DQs and countouts. I feel like we've just kind of set them. So like we never really set that precedent. So if he said the right guy, I say give it to him.
All right. With that, Richie is the predictions winner for Money in the Bank. Therefore, for the last two shows, all of us have won, and we all get participation trophies. Because nobody was predicting the next match right. No. Because the winner wasn't even announced for the match until the match started. And that is Theory.
I feel like you've been screwed over twice here now, Jake. Remember when you voted for the Impact Jack Evans and he was in the match?
Yeah, but at least this one screwed all of us over. This is okay. I'm not upset that Theory is Mr. Money in the Bank. I think he can do great things with the briefcase. I think he's a great heel. I think he's going to do really good with the briefcase. My only issue is with the booking and not even announcing him for the match until it happened. If he was announced for the match, I might have picked him to win. Just being Vince McMahon's golden boy right now.
Also, actually, just going back to the win for a second, I just remembered something. Commentary likes this. I mean, it's not they're told to do this, but they don't like to gaslight you sometimes in thinking that you remembered history wrong. They said that when Asuka came out, they said that she cashed in on Becky Lynch. No, she didn't. It's like, oh yeah, they cashed on Becky Lynch before that, yeah, and we won the title. Like, no, the match was for the title, and Becky Lynch just presented it to her. Like, don't anyway.
Yeah. Going back to that real quick, they did release WWE. They released a video of Pat McAfee and Michael Cole's reaction to Liv cashing in, and it seems like just everybody is behind Liv, and that's really cool to see.
I think
Right.
She's great. No, she's great. All right, you go. She's great.
Yeah, back to Theory winning. Like I said, I'm not upset that Theory is Mr. Money in the Bank. I just wish it was booked better. But no, from what I've heard, this was a pretty decent match with some nice spots. The only trepidation I had going into this was how Omos would fit in with all of this. So maybe Richie can tell us more about that, since Jordan and I didn't actually watch it.
I wouldn't say he fits in. It's just like, yeah, he comes in, does his big man spots. He was taken out with it. They did a cool spot where they all sort of huddled together and did like a group sort of power bomb onto the announce table. That looked kind of cool. So that's how he's taken out.
They Braun Strowman him too. They just put all the chairs on him, right?
Yeah, he put him with all the things on him. So yeah, and then this was like, again, it was probably one of the more kind of tame sort of Money in the Bank matches. There was a couple of cool spots, but mostly done by the guys you'd expect to do those cool spots, like mainly Riddle and Rollins here. There was a spot where he does the the floating bro onto everybody, and then he does when Seth is about to win, he does an RKO off the ladder. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I felt like that they definitely told you his Theory is going to win when they just announced him. It was like, oh, okay, obviously he's going. Oh, we've got a special guest. Like, obviously he's winning now. But yeah, so and it's like he's like he definitely gets the boos that the WWE want, but I don't know if they're the boos for the right reasons. I feel like they're more like maybe go away heat like X-Pac had, but we'll see what happens. Like he maybe one day he'll be a big baby face, but I'm a bit trepidatious at the moment. But that was it was a fun match, but like especially after like wasn't it like last year, the year before you did this thing too, where like Brock Lesnar won? Yeah, Brock Lesnar won.
Yeah, that was 2019?
Yeah, I think
it was 2019.
But yeah, like Brock Lesnar won, and he wasn't in the match. So you've done that spot already before. So, yeah. But anyway, I'm sure. I'm sure. I expect maybe Austin will probably successfully cash in. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm calling it now. Last man standing. Austin Theory is gonna cash in when both of them are down. Just stand there and win. No, neither of them are gonna be able to count to 10.
Yeah, and it's a way to get the title. Maybe I don't know, a way to get the title for Roman, so like you can defend it more in theory.
Because apparently Roman's not going to be at Extreme Rules either.
Okay, yeah.
But Jordan, what are your thoughts on Theory being Mr. Money in the Bank?
Yeah, man. I mean, as said, my only problem is the way they went about it here, because not only is it one of those wrestling decisions that's a little bit of a slap to the face, a little incongruent. Is Adam Pearce a heel now? Why is he making that decision? It's also just it sucked out some of the fun. You know what I mean? Like, my brother was actually there live, and he had fun with it. But like, everyone's like, at that point, it was obvious. You know what I mean? Who's gonna win? Just have him qualify. Just have him qualify. Be in the match. You know what I mean? That's the only kind of qualm. It just seems too spoon fed, too annoying of a decision. The way they went about it, unnecessary little add on. Other than that, though, man, he's a cocky shit heel. I knew Vince would love him. I knew from the Evolve days. I was like, oh, Vince is gonna fucking love this dude, and I feel like that's exactly what has happened here. So, yeah, like I said, I don't necessarily hate the outcome. It is what it is. There's other people I like to see maybe more in that spot, but I think he's a talented dude, so I'm relatively fine with it. Just the way they could have went about it, I felt was unnecessary.
Yeah, I would have loved to see Sami Zayn holding that briefcase while we still, sort of being involved with the bloodline. I thought that would have been fun, but
well, Sami Zayn was funny in this match. Like, there was a point like the commentators completely missed it, but it was funny. It was like everybody was like doing their spots for each other, and I know Omos was running rampant on everybody. And then, except for him, because he literally was hiding near the ring post and kind of looking like that. But the announcers never made mention of it. But it was really funny. It was a tense match, and then there was points in the match where you're like, yeah, he could win this, and that would be a good story. But yeah, but I don't know. I feel like maybe if had Theory not been added to the match, I would be more. It would have been more of a believer here. But yeah.
Yeah. So, Richie, overall, what do you give this pay-per-view or this premium live event out of 10?
The thing with WWE is I don't particularly like their TV, but the pay-per-views are usually pretty good, and that's just kind of what's annoying because it's like you're capable of putting on a good show. Why don't you do that regularly? It's not a bad show at all. Like there was some good moments. Liv Morgan thing stands out as one of the better moments. So I don't know, I'll give it a 7.
Okay. Yeah, that's about where I was before I stopped watching. It was about a 7.5, which Liv cashing in might have kept it there, and then the booking decision of the main event might have brought it down to a 7. So what I saw, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't busy with ranking. You're right.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't remember that Money in the Bank was on a Saturday this year. I thought it was Sunday.
Yeah, I did too. I forgot.
Honestly, would have forgotten, and if we didn't do this podcast, I would have forgotten. But you're like, oh shit! I'm like, okay, cool, because I thought I was gonna. I think I had tournament fights the day after. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to miss. I have to miss Money in the Bank. But yeah, it was like, oh no, it was the day before.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we are halfway through the year, so it's time to talk top 10 matches of 2022 so far. But before we do, I just want to congratulations to Pat McAfee signing an extension with WWE, a multi-year extension. Guy deserves it. Guy's been doing great work. Great on commentary, and I think he's done wonders for Michael Cole, just kind of reinvigorating him. And I think they're a great duo. I'm happy that we're going to be able to see them for at least the next few years or however long his extension was. I didn't read up on how long it was. I just saw that he got a multi-year extension. Absolutely deserves it. He seems like a guy that the locker room enjoys too.
That was an interesting moment too. Of Money in the Bank is. So they didn't air it, but I guess Corbin attacked him.
Oh, right.
My brother said from the crowd's perspective, for a second they thought it was a fucking fan because it was kind of done on the low key and to the side.
Oh.
There's a minute there. I'm like, did a fan just grab McAfee? But then you finally realized that was Corbin.
Not only did I mentioned this before, Corbin attacked him apparently, but then so right after the show, there's a UFC pay-per-view right across the street, and Vince, Stephanie, Triple H, Nick Khan, and Pat McAfee were there, and he had his neck brace on. He was selling it.
Yeah,
So,
apparently the local medical facility just let him out.
Nice. By the way, if you're a fan of Dark Side of the Ring, Dark Side of the '90s UFC episode, really good.
I didn't know that was
Okay.
a spin-off on right now. Like they're doing a spin-off.
They're going Dark Side crazy at that channel. They found a thing that worked, and now there's Dark Side everything.
Okay, cool. So they're gonna.
There's
I hope the wrestler dudes get like a producer credit or something, because like it's their title.
Yeah.
There's going to be some shenanigans that go on with that show, and then we're going to have a Dark Side of the Dark Side series.
Dark side of the
Dark Side of the Dark Side. People thought we were producing a nice, clean show, but in reality,
But yeah, congratulations to Pat McAfee. Congratulations to Wardlow winning the TNT title in a street fight against Scorpio Sky. I just want to touch on that real quick. I think Wardlow's being booked too strongly. Like if he's beating 20 security guards, he's beating Scorpio Sky with Ethan Page and America's Top Team on the outside in a street fight where they can get involved whenever they want. I don't know. I feel like they're just booking him to be this unstoppable monster, and I don't know if there's anybody on that roster right now that I believe could beat him cleanly or even uncleanly, because apparently that doesn't work. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
They definitely like booking him like Goldberg, so I think he's just like a sort of a Goldberg kind of. They're doing the So I think I feel like, but obviously he's a better wrestler than Goldberg, but there's definitely that style of booking with him. I'm surprised that like Scorpio didn't get as much offense as he did, considering all the people on the outside. Not a big fan of that 1 foot like pin. It's kind of a bit like makes I get opponents look very weak, but I get it as sort of a sign of dominance and stuff. I'm just hoping that he goes on a decent run, because they've been hot potatoing that belt for a while, and it's sort of lost. I miss the days when Miro had it and had a decent run with it. So I can see Wardlow having a decent run with it. So hopefully that's what happens. I don't know if he's going to get new side plays
because of it being a street fight. I almost kind of thought like, okay, and Scorpio just kind of won it back. I thought maybe Scorpio was going to retain due to some shenanigans, whether it's Top Team or MJF. But no, we got a pretty clean victory there by Wardlow. It's definitely a notch above Goldberg, because Goldberg would have won it in a minute and a half. It took Wardlow 7.5. So,
and Goldberg wouldn't come off the top rope like Wardlow either. I don't care how many times I see it. That's always going to be impressive.
Goldberg can't do a bent on.
So, I'm cool with it, and like you said, I don't know if, do you go do a heel turn maybe, because like Richie said, the 1 foot thing is pretty cocky. That's usually a heel move, old school Jericho, if you will. So could he end up getting really cocky and you try to have a face try to conquer him? You go a couple different ways about it. Is he's definitely being booked strong. Like that's kind of another reason why I thought he might lose this match with Scorpio, because I was like, so far he's had a pretty clean like ascension, since the MJF breakup. Like, oh, maybe he'll lose MJF, or no, never mind. Maybe he'll lose this match. No, never mind. Like, the even the handicap match didn't really have any kind of shenanigans about it. He literally just destroyed 20 dudes, So yeah, definitely being booked very strong.
Does he keep the purple side plates?
Does he keep the what?
Purple side plates that Scorpio put in.
Well, I was gonna go a notch above you and say, do they even keep that color? Because they keep flip flopping that. Not only do they flip flop title holders, they flip flop designs. Wardlow's gonna debut a blue one next week, probably.
And you're telling me Ethan Page is gonna stay down that long from somebody coming over the top rope when I'm pretty sure he's been in matches where somebody's come over the top rope on him and he's gotten back up like seconds later. Like,
definitely inconsistent. Like when you need to stay down kind of thing. Yeah.
It's not like he's a referee who takes a inadvertent elbow to the side of the shoulder or something and is down for 3 minutes.
Down for 7 days.
Yeah.
Well, real quick too, if you want to give some shout outs, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting a title change, but I'm very happy. Cora Jade just seemed to be somebody that's gotten over with the fans as well. She had that that story with Natalia, so apparently maybe the backstage they're high up on her as well, and she's young, so she's got a bright future ahead of her.
Very young,
Like
yeah.
20 years
Roxanne's
old.
young too. They're both very young and really
Is,
good. Both
is
indie
Roxanne
girls originally.
is Roxanne Perez like? I haven't really like. I don't want to see point. She's not. Is she Roxy from Ring of Honor?
Wow, watch more women's wrestling, Richie.
Yeah, Richie, catch up, dude. No,
She's
that
Roxy
is
from Ring of Honor.
exactly
Oh
that's
yeah,
former.
I like Roxy. She's good. She's a really good wrestler. So good for that.
Yeah, now he's a fan. Now he's a fan that he realizes who she
I'm
is.
good. Okay.
Yes, former Ring of Honor Women's Champion Roxy.
Roxy.
Yeah, and it looks like Braun Breaker's got his next challenger for his championship in the form of the former Jordan Devlin, JD McDonough, or whatever his last name is now.
Jordan Devlin for me, and Jordan. Yeah, if you haven't seen Jordan, like he was on NXT UK, and played NXT for a bit. He's really good. Like when he first came in, he was, like people were calling him Twin Balor because he looks like Twin Balor and he was trained by Finn. But yeah, he's really good on his own. And then like he had one of the coolest names for a finishing move ever. Like he did a side suplex with the Devlin side. That's a really good name for a move. But yeah, like it's good that he's getting. I'm surprised he's getting like this bigger push off the bat, but I'm here for it. I think he's a really good wrestler, and he could have good matches, and wouldn't be shocked if he won. To be honest.
Yeah, which I think was a surprise appearance too, because I think even earlier in the show they aired a vignette of him and saying that he would arrive next week, and then he attacked him.
Yeah, good little mini swerve of you're thinking, okay, cool. I won't even think about him again. And oh shit, there he is. Yeah.
So yeah, that was cool.
Can I go on a mini rant at the? I mean, I don't know if you're going to get to it.
Oh boy.
But you wouldn't notice, but like because like I mean, Ring of Honor has a pay per view coming up, and they have a very couple of weeks. I don't know. I feel like this pay per view hasn't been built that well at all. They're finding. I mean, the only one that's had a really good build is Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe. I feel like, and yeah, it's like they locked in a date very very late, and they're like, okay, we're going to scramble. So it's like, okay, well, yeah, Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia have sort of been feuding. Let's do that match. It'll be a good match. We'll just have FTR call out like the Briscoes again because that was a banger last time. But yeah, it's just like there's been no build to anything, and I'm still gonna watch it. I'm a wrestling fan. I love it, Ring of Honor, but yeah, I hope that's like not the. I don't know. I know they've got no Ring of Honor like TV to make it harder, but I don't know. Like they did the build towards Supercard Honor was really good. So I don't know. I just feel like this has been lacking. I think maybe being so close to after Forbidden Door probably didn't help, but I don't know. I just felt like it could have. There could be more build towards this show, which is considering you want to get people hyped about Ring of Honor when eventually comes back to TV and stuff. But anyway.
No, I mean that's the problem is that they announced the date. I think it was still and it was less than a month away, and so now they're kind of doing the mad dash, like let's get things going and moving here. And outside of Lethal and Joe, yeah, nothing's really been alluded to. We've got Garcia with his problems with Wheeler, but that's been very much like just part of a thing. But I think it'll be a good match though. Hopefully again, I hope it draws because there is less of an oomph, I think, for this one here. Like you said, a great rematch of a tag match that maybe we'll talk about here in a moment. But it's a rematch, and it's something that kind of felt like you said, oh, okay, we're gonna do it. Why not? We're just because we are gonna do it, So
I thought maybe it made more sense to because I thought that's what they were voting for. I thought maybe they'd do because they wasn't playing that they didn't get a fair shot. I thought maybe they'd do a FTR and Roppongi Vice. That's where they would do that match because they didn't remember that there was a story where they had the match, but then it was got interrupted, so they never actually had a full on fair title opportunity. So I thought maybe they'd do that at Ring of Honor, but they never did. But anyway.
Yeah, I just think
I hear that, but at the same time, I think FTR and Briscoes is where the money is. I think
I think at the end of the day, they needed maybe a big draw, and that's your biggest draw to a degree, if not the Dylan and Lethal.
Yeah, I mean, with the lack of booking that they've been doing, you want something that's going to draw fans in, and if you have a match that's considered match of the year so far in many people's eyes, and we're going to run it back. Okay, let me see.
See, even the Joe thing, even the one we've given credit on, it really has just been promos via Lethal for the last several weeks. Joe's been kind of out. So, even that's been you could argue, a little bit of a lackluster build because, it's been mostly just Lethal kind of reminding us that, oh, hey, I'm still coming for you, Joe, without really much of a response or matches in the meanwhile. So,
and you still don't have anything for Jonathan Gresham. I guess maybe they're doing Jonathan, maybe leaning towards Jonathan Gresham and Brian Cage. I don't know. Just feels like that might something. Not the match I would kind of like pumped for, but it'd be a good match. But yeah, just with they don't have anything with Jonathan Gresham yet. But he is wrestling on Rampage next week, so maybe they'll do something else.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, well, I'm sure on Rampage we'll see where they're going with him. It's the problem not having television, and then also not only not having television, but then trying to build a show that's, like you said, it's kind of it's not the first thing that AEW needs to focus on, especially when Forbidden Door was there, and there was right before Double or Nothing, and then so it's kind of a backstory almost, their third priority on pay-per-view, and they gave it only a few weeks. So I think it'll be a good show. Just, as far as like really getting me hyped for it, it hasn't worked.
Yeah. I will say, I think Wheeler Yuta and Danny Garcia is more than just, their factions are feuding. I mean, we did see them attack Yuta on Dark after he defended against Tony Nese. So I mean, there's a little more to it than just our two groups are feuding. But which, by the way,
that's dark.
AEW Dark.
I feel like people like maybe they do not run into this issue where they assume people watch everything. So
I mean, like, I actually did watch that match on Dark. I saw that that match was happening, and it's a decent match for Dark. It's really good. I mean, given the people involved.
Yeah. No, every once in a while, they'll definitely shoehorn in like a story or like a really good main event.
All right, we are nearly an hour into the show. The last time we did a top 10, the show went over 2 hours. Let's see if we can avoid that this time, because we are talking top 10 of 2022 so far. But before we get into the top 10, if do either of you have any honorable mentions you'd like to shout out? George, go ahead and shout out your honorable mentions.
Yes, my honorable mentions include Cody Rhodes' WWE re-debut with Seth Rollins and Mania. Impact Wrestling's multiverse of matches: Alex Shelley versus Mike Bailey. Supercard of Honor: Bandito versus Jonathan Gresham. WrestleMania: Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. And then from an April Dynamite, FTR against each other: Cash versus Dax.
Yeah, Richie, you got any honorable mentions you want to shout out?
Like the Young Bucks versus FTR from, I think it was Dynamite. It was a Dynamite. I think it was a decent match. Like Jordan said, Jonathan Gresham and Bandito just missed it. Just missed my cut. Also, I can't remember what show it was on, but Alex Shelley and Jay White had a really good match at one pay-per-view recently. Yeah, so that'd be up there. Maybe from Rebellion, Josh Alexander versus Moose. It was really good. So those are mine.
All right, and I will also shout out Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I'll shout out their first two matches. I think the first two matches, I think they had a solid trilogy.
Yeah, I'll agree. Actually, I'll throw Backlash in there as well too.
Yeah, I thought Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, and Asuka was a really solid opener for Hell in a Cell. Not my favorite match of that show. Spoilers, but it's really great opener. And then the Young Bucks and Lucha Bros from I believe it was June 3rd Rampage was a really solid TV match.
That actually should be on my honorable soon.
Yeah, Uncle Dave really liked it. He gave it a 5-star, and I actually rewatched it today. I was like, is it going to be on my list or is it going to be an honorable? It ended up being an honorable, but it's as good as I remember. So give that one a shout out, and I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. Jordan, what is Your number 10. You liar. You said you didn't have graphics.
Well, you guys took an hour to review Hell in a Cell or Money in the Bank, so I made graphics.
You're very quick on that. Man.
Oh, sorry. This was my last honorable mention.
Well, it's my number 10. We're going with a 6-man tag from
I
Double or
forgot about
Nothing.
this match. God damn it.
Death Triangle, Pac, Phoenix, Pentagon, Obscuro, Uno, Node, Sphere, whatever his name is, against House of Black. Buddy Matthews. I hate that name. I still want him to change it. Buddy Matthews, Malachi Black, and Brody King. Yeah, I went in. Obviously, in no way should you doubt that this match should be good on paper. Look at the 6 names. But I don't know. I just went in going, all right, this would be a fun 6-man. I thought this was a killer match. This one, I remember this was actually something I saw on the big screen. And I thought this is really just a really great match here, man. They hit all their spots really spot on. Everyone kind of gelled very well here. Yeah, that was just a really banger match. One of the first few on the show, kind of setting the pace, and yeah, that's my number 10.
Yeah, this was a great match to end the buy-in. Kind of, if you want to see more, order the pay-per-view. Which I think led into a really nice pay-per-view of Double or Nothing. Question for you guys. This is just kind of popped into my head. Do you think this feud could be like the Usos and New Day of WWE? Could this be AEW's Uso versus New Day? Because these guys never seem to put on a bad match when they're in the ring together.
I mean, potentially you can go back to it, but obviously they got Park with the Atlantic Championship now, so I think that he wants to go on a singles run. But you can definitely go back to it here and there. But yeah, it's a really good match. I don't know. I think this wasn't on the buy-in, was it? I think you're thinking of the one at Revolution that was on the buy-in.
Yeah, you're thinking of a different match, which was also a really good match.
Yeah, I think the one with
my bad.
I think the one with Redbeard. Yeah. But I forgot about this match. It should be an honorable mention for me too. It was really fun. It was one of the best matches on that show. So yes.
I was just keeping you guys on your toes.
No, but I know what you're talking about, because that match honestly also kind of crossed my mind, because it's such a good. I don't even say buy-in match. It's just a really good match that both really good multi-mans.
No, yeah. Yeah, and shout out to Brody King also getting a AEW World Title shot, and
he had a really good match.
I don't think anybody thought he was going to win, but he had a good showing.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Richie, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is something I never thought would be on my list, considering I wasn't a fan of the match going in. I thought it was a bit silly. wasn't really what I would think of when I think Mania, but I'm going to go with it. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville.
It's also my number 10.
I think this match is fun. I think this storyline couldn't work with many other people, maybe Kevin Owens, but Sami Zayn made it work, and it was just ridiculous fun from Wee Man bit through the body slam to the big fucking elaborate mousetrap. Oh, it was amazing. So I thought about it. I'm like, I can't not put it here. Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So yeah, number 10. Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is a comedy match booked perfectly, I think. Now, if we were doing like a top 10 best matches of the year, this doesn't crack the list. But we're talking favorite matches of the year, and I had a lot of fun watching this. This is one that I will go back to. I think this is the one that when you're talking about WrestleMania moments, this one might get brought up. I mean, sure, we've got 38 WrestleManias, spanning 41 nights, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It was a lot better than it had any right to be. I think the expectations going in were low. But the result that we got was a really fun comedy match. Interferences worked, all the shenanigans. I loved it. And yeah, number 10. So,
not on my list, but I will say I definitely crossed my mind. So no problems.
Yeah, so since that was my number 10, we will go back to Jordan for his number 9.
Richie brought it up before. Going to Impact Wrestling now. My only Impact mention is going to be from Rebellion. Josh Alexander getting his long-awaited championship opportunity against Moose. A good build-up here, man. Impact doing their own kind of cash-in where Alexander finally won against Christian. Moose ruins the moment right in front of Alexander's kid and his wife, and a long time coming. This was built for months. They built up to this match here, and which made it worth it too. Paying the premium fee for a Rebellion. That's what was missing from the last Impact pay-per-view, whereas Alexander versus Eric Young, where I was like, is that really the build that you want me to shoehorn in my money in? This felt like a pay-per-view of like, okay, this feels like a big climax. And I thought they made a pretty good main event here. I think Moose has had kind of a breakout year as far as a character. Finally getting that world title, something that, he's been going for a little while here. Alexander's been a breakout as well. He's been dominating over an Impact. Ethan Page moved on to AEW, but you can say Alexander's had a better singles career so far. It's not a match worked out well. You had the right moments, and big old win for Alexander.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited that Josh Alexander is champion finally. And it didn't get taken away from him in 6 minutes or whatever. So.
Yeah, Josh Alexander is fantastic, and Moose is sort of I've always liked Moose, but I feel like he's one of the most improved wrestlers in the last couple of years. He's turned into a fantastic wrestler. I love watching Moose, and he's like one of the more over people on the roster. Just I love his entrance. I love his whole presentation. I think he's great. If you want to talk about honorable mentions, it's not like it only happened recently, but like his Clubhouse, his match against All Odds recently with Sami Callihan. I thought about it. Yeah, it's only happened recently, but the Clockwork Orange House of Horror, whatever it's called, it was really fun. And Raven was on commentary, but yeah, he was. He's been really good. But yeah, like Josh Alexander's been just the MVP of this company. I think. Yeah, the build-up's been great. There was even a point where he wasn't even Josh Alexander didn't have a contract, so he wasn't even with the company yet. He was working another job, and then they worked out another deal. So yeah, it's just the whole build has been amazing. So yeah, and seeing Josh Alexander just put on these classic, these great matches. I'm excited to see where he goes from the Eric Young feud. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I think he there's a reason why when he did the draft episode, I had to include him because he's fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to piggyback too, like you did. Yeah, if Moose and Callahan had some really good ones. Alexander defended later on against Tomohiro Ishii. That's a good match as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Richie, what's your number 9?
It might have been just 4. I couldn't remember, but I think that was a really good match. One of the better matches on Rampage. I'm going to go with John Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. I thought this match was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it told a really good story here, where it's the first time these guys wrestled, it was basically a squash. Moxley just beat him up very quickly, and then the second match he got a bit more offense in, but still get the job done. And then the third match was just a war. It was just this is how you make a star in one night. He became a huge star after this, and you're like, man, and you wanted to see him in the Blackpool Combat Club, and I think he's been one of the standout wrestlers of the year in any company, and it's probably all thanks to this match and with John Moxley. So, absolutely, Wheeler Yuta versus John Moxley.
Yeah, it's a great choice. I think Wheeler Yuta's having a fantastic year.
No, good choice.
Yeah. My number 9, it's a match we just saw very recently. It's the Usos and the Street Profits. I really, really enjoyed this match. It started off, pretty slow with the Usos kind of dominating Montez Ford, but once the action picked up, like it picked up. It was going at like a really fast pace. I loved it. There was one point where Montez Ford leaped over the post onto the Usos, and then got right back up and started shaking the camera, and he was just hyped. I loved it. Once the action picked up, it was very much a methodical match in the beginning. The Usos kind of cutting the ring in half, not allowing Montez Ford to tag in Angelo Dawkins, and but once it got going, it got going. One of the better tag team matches of the year, and I liked the finish where they hit their finish, but Ford's shoulder wasn't down on the mat, and they kind of showed that after the match was over. You can see that the referee wasn't in the best position to see that his shoulder was off. So if they run it back at SummerSlam, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'll probably elaborate more on this match now. Yeah, I really did enjoy this match. I think there was just periods of, obviously, as you said, it started off slow, and they initially got the heat on Angelo Dawkins, which lasted for ages, which seemed to last for forever, and then Montez Ford tagged in, and then you think, oh, he's going to get the hot tag, and he got almost cut off immediately, and then so it's they had the heat on him for ages, and so there's point because the dirty style reluctance on sleeper holds. It kind of I was sort of drifting off for a bit there, but when it picked up, it really picked up, and it really got the crowd into it. I'm sure I could see these two rematching at SummerSlam, and maybe maybe Usos win, and then you do the turn with Montez Ford. I don't know, but yeah, this match was great. It's definitely one of the better of the show. So it's a solid choice for you.
I'm just hesitant of them breaking up the Street Profits because of the lack of depth in the tag team division right now. But when they do it, Ford will absolutely shine as a singles competitor.
Come on, there's still some good tag team.
Yes,
I'm
sorry, I forgot to mention the one other tag team that's on the roster right now.
They had a really good segment on Raw where he threw up hot dogs. Can't forget that.
Yeah. Are Rude and Ziggler still a tag team? What's going on with them?
Sort of. Rude's been doing stuff at NXT, kind of, but then I don't know.
Not really. Neither one of them's been there for weeks, bro. No.
Okay, I thought I saw it anyway, but I don't know.
I think it was the last time we saw Ziggler when he was shaking John Cena's hand.
Okay,
probably the whole.
Here's a heel, and
I thought they were going to feud. I thought they were maybe be turning them babyface because they didn't have an altercation or something with Omos or something. I think a couple weeks ago. I don't know if they were building towards something there, but I don't know.
Yeah, the Usos' next challengers will be Omos and MVP. I hope that doesn't happen. Let's move on to number 8, Jordan. I was about to say an entire top 10 could probably be made up of Forbidden Door, and people would be like, yeah, it's a solid list.
Yes, let's go over to that door that is forbidden, which the Dark Order keep trying to find this door. They don't know where the door is. Really fun foray here. Another one that I wouldn't expect to be so high on my list at the moment here, but I just kept kind of thinking about it when I was doing this list and thought it kind of belonged on here for me. I was really kind of invested. I thought it told the right story of. I truly thought everyone had a shot. Even Clark Connors, who I'm not too familiar with, and who was a replacement for Tomohiro Ishii. You even had moments of maybe that's what they're gonna go with, just to shock everyone. Because no one will see that coming. Maybe it's Miro. He keeps talking about, redeeming himself. Malachi hasn't had a shot yet. Oh, but maybe Pac hasn't had it. And they all had their moments here, man. Like I said, in a weird way, this was not a weird way, just maybe unlike Unpredictable Way, this was the better 4-way of the night, in my opinion. I just thought it was faster paced. Everybody kind of gelled very well. Makes you wonder what the 4-way with Ishii would have been. Maybe this ended up being for the best. Hard to say. But in the end, it was a really good match. I just wish that we had follow-up on it. We still haven't had any Pac follow-up. But besides the point, still a really good match.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I guess you could say, other than the Forbidden Door matches that are on my list, because there are some, the rest of the pay-per-view could be an honorable mention because it was a really good show.
This match is really great, and yeah, I think when you have again, like I mentioned, sort of Wheel Yuta, it's sort of a way you to build up stars, at the end of the match, like people are chanting for Clark Connors because they made it really rare to me. I'm like, oh, they're gonna go here. Like, I wouldn't mind it. It'd be interesting if they maybe they bring Clark Connors in to do some stuff. That'd be kind of cool. Because I think that the dude has potential, and it's cool to see him. But I think the Ishii being in there would have been more of a brawl, especially with like sort of Miro. I think they would have done stuff there. But I'm happy with what we got. It's interesting that they haven't followed up on the Park thing. It looks like Malachi Black and Miro are going to feud with each other, which is interesting. But I would like to see some follow up with Park. This is a really solid match, and yes, I agree with the better 4-way of the night.
Yeah, and if you didn't know who Clark Connors was before the match, you definitely know who he is now. Yes, I'm pointing at myself there. Richie, what's your number 8?
Okay, so my number 8 is also a match that sort of just happened the other day. It's an Impact match. And if you haven't seen it, from Against All Odds, Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel. This fucking match, to borrow a phrase from Sean Ross Sapp, this match humped. This match was really good. I just love this match. It just really, really the fast pace like you expect from these two. I think Mike Bailey has sort of come into his own as one of the biggest stars in Impact. I think I'm glad he's X Division champion. He's just got this such a cool unique style and sort of personality. This match blew me away, and I'm like, once I saw it, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to rejig my list and put this on this list because I think it's one of the best matches I've seen this year. It's fantastic. I implore people to, I don't know if it's on YouTube, but I implore people to go and check it out. It's really fun, and I think, Mike Bailey can do no wrong at the moment. He's really good. So Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel.
Yeah, I gotta say, so I haven't seen this one, but I'm not surprised to hear the two names and it being on the top 10. I think they're both fantastic. Trey Miguel, he stayed in Impact while the other Rascals went to NXT, and he was able to have a really great breakout singles run here. It's an NXT Division title run as well. Spider Trey is what they call him sometimes, and I think he's fantastic. And Mike Bailey, man, I know he's been great for years. He unfortunately got caught at the border and was banned from the U.S. for several years, and we lost out on that. And then finally he was able to come back in, and GCW, Impact, everyone's kind of picked up on him very quickly. I mentioned before, him and Alex Shelley have a really good one. Go check that out. You could continue on the list, honestly. Mike Bailey and Bandito had a great one at WrestleCon. He's had some stuff with Ace Austin. He's put together some great matches here, man. If you don't know Mike Bailey, check out this or Shelley. He's done some really good stuff this year.
I mean, he had a good match. I think it was on PWG. He had a really something. It was something. He had a really good match just like this last week with Buddy Matthews.
I'm looking at that. I haven't seen it obviously because those things are so late to come out, but I'm sure that's a banger too. Yeah, a 13-minute match with Buddy recently on July 3rd.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, because I haven't seen it yet either. My number 8, I'm gonna go to AEW for the first time in the top 10. I'm gonna go to CM Punk and MJF in the dog collar match. Hard hitting, bloody. It was everything that was advertised and more. I thought it was a great end to the feud. And this is obviously where the Wardlow MGF feud kind of, it was being teased, but this is kind of where it finally just got going. With him taking the ring out and setting it in the ring, CM Punk using that. I think the story that was told here was fantastic. Match absolutely delivered on expectations, and yeah, I think number 8 is where I have it. So the dog collar.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, it's a fun match. A great storytelling being told here. Yeah, and I think it's one of the better feuds that AEW had this year. Like I think that it was just a really good feud, and yeah, it's really good. I would say I wouldn't say cap off the feud because I still expect. I honestly expect MJF to come back and be the one to beat Punk. I think that's the idea going forward. It's just a matter of Punk coming from injury. I think probably what they're going to do. But yeah, this match was great. But like solid choice.
Yeah. All right, Jordan. Moving on to number 7.
Yeah, at least we might have talked about it before about it. An honorable maybe. I got it here. FTR, Young Bucks. This was back when it looks like April. There's not much more to say here, man. Look at the 2 teams involved. Shouldn't be surprised here. I think FTR is really good about adapting to most teams that they face, whether it's something like a Briscoes or someone like a Bucks or even a Lucha Brothers. Their first Lucha Brothers match actually wasn't that great, but later on they've had some great matches with them. I think just another reason why I almost, in a weird way, want to say FTR's had another breakout year somehow, because I feel like when they first debuted in AEW, it was good, but like, you know what I mean? Like their reign wasn't like spectacular, but like I feel like these last 6 months they've really reminded a lot of people that they could quite indeed be the best tag team on the planet. And Young Bucks also continue to prove that they can also put on still a great match here, and they will forever be the Young Bucks too, even when they're 40 or 60 or 70, they will be the Young Bucks.
Yeah. Solid choice. FTR are my picks for like the MVPs of the year so far. They've just putting in quality work in these last 6 months. And it's not the last time you will see FTR show up in the top 10. And who knows? Maybe they'll have more matches in the top 10 when we do this at the end of the year.
Probably.
I would have that great of a year.
Honestly, if we could do a whole separate episode and do top 10 FTR matches of the year, we legitimately could.
We could. You're right. So
that might be my choice. We'll see what happens.
Richie, what's your number 7?
All right, you mentioned. I think you both mentioned it before as an honorable. I think this match is one of the best matches on Mania. I'm going to go Becky Lynch and Bianca. I think this match is fantastic. I think these two work really well together.
This is my number 7. I had the triple threat as an honorable mention.
Okay, cool.
This is my honorable.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. This match is fantastic. These two work really well together. I know we don't, we live in the world of like rematches instead of being. It's not like not everyone's a fan, but like I could watch these women wrestle, the rest of the year if they had to. I think these two have got great chemistry in the ring. Told a great story here. Bianca winning the Smackdown last year, women's side last year, and then winning the Raw women's side, and she's really over, man. Like she's one of the few women that they're allowed to get over organically. And like who aren't like the four, part of the 4 horsewomen. I'm really happy for her. And maybe down the line we see Bianca hold the title as well as Montez Ford, and you can have like a husband and wife kind of thing. I think this match is fantastic.
Oh yeah, we're definitely getting a Montez Ford, Bianca Belair versus Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch match down the line. Come on, the booking is there. It writes itself. Come on, and honestly, that'd be a tag team match I wouldn't mind seeing. So it's gonna be a lot better than Rollins and Lynch against Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. That's for sure. But no, I thought this was a great match. This is like easily the best women's match of the year so far, in my opinion. I think it was just a great story. Bianca finally getting her win back from SummerSlam. I think she's just been putting in great work the last, year and a half. She's been on the main roster, 2 years, however long she's been on the main roster now. Absolutely deserves it. And to think before she challenged Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's Championship, Sam Roberts was like, she doesn't deserve it. And look at her now.
Yeah, that's Sam Roberts. No, he's done.
I'm pretty sure he's gone on record to admitting that he was wrong, but
okay, cool.
Yeah. I'll take things that didn't age well for 500, Alex. So yeah, that's my number 7. We'll move on to number 6. So let me pull up the graphic for you, Jordan. Hey.
Hell yeah. I was
wondering why you didn't elaborate on it. I was like, you were just like, yeah,
because I'm going to talk about it later.
I was like, good talk, Jordan. Oh wait, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, good pick. Move on.
Way to contribute, Jordan.
I knew I was going to talk about it later. I also just want to do a bit of a fact check here too for everyone. Dolph Ziggler, his last singles match, it was in April when he lost the title back to Braun on Raw. He was in a Battle Royal in June, and that's it. And good old Rude, as far as matches, hasn't had a match on television since the Andre Battle Royal back in April on SmackDown. So there's your Ziggler and Rude update.
Wow.
Neither one of them have wrestled on TV since April outside of a Battle Royal for Ziggler in June. So,
man, unless Ziggler is injured and has just been traveling with the company, book him, please. He's great.
Maybe he's on a stand-up comedy tour.
I don't know. I would see him again. He wasn't great, but it was a good price if you wanted autographs and stuff.
Yeah.
But again, so the countdown, yeah. So Richie talked about it before, man. Moxley and Wheeler. Yeah, this is definitely a match on paper I didn't think would be in my top 10, but it is such a good story here. You can kind of see a star being born in Wheeler, who I've been a fan of before he even debuted. I was aware of his work in places like Beyond and AIW. But even then, I was kind of wondering if he would step outside of the pack of your other Lee Moriarty's and Tony Nese's and all these other guys that are jockeying for these spots. And Wheeler's had, I think, one of the best breakout years. That's the reason why I think he's got the Ring of Honor Pure title. Obviously, Tony's pretty high on him. Recently popping up in the the Super J Cup or Juniors tournament for New Japan. They chose him for that. And yeah, this is kind of a star-making performance, a rematch, and where he gives it his all. He gets that blessing from Regal towards the end. Later on, joins the group, and yeah, just a really great story here. Good match. My only Rampage match as well of Moxley versus Yuta.
Yep. Again, solid choice.
It's fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
Well, good combo, guys. Jeez, way to add to it.
Yeah. I will say that you will see both of those guys later on my list. Maybe not that match specifically, but you'll see him again. So that was your number 6, which means that we will move on to Richie's number 6.
Well, you're going to see them right now because my number 6 is Blood and Guts.
Okay.
I know this match has happened, but this match delivered. This match is just chaos. I think speaking of Wheeler Yuta, I think he was one of the stars of this match. He had his working boots on, man. He was really good. Just a bloody crazy affair. I think that Matt Menard and Angelo Parker were just a mess as far as, especially Angelo Parker, just covered in blood. I haven't seen blood that badly for a while. And then it got a bit wonky when they went up to on the cage because I think Jericho thought they were in break, but that was kind of funny. But I think they told a really good story here, especially with Claudio getting the tap out victory before Eddie Kingston had a chance to. So I don't know if they're going to go anything there. They kind of I mean, on Dynamite, they kind of just said, "Oh, yeah." They're just like, "Oh, yeah." He didn't really seem that there was any hard feelings there, but they might revisit it later on. But yeah, no, this match is fantastic. It's one of those matches now that's like going to be looked forward to when it's on the calendar every year. So yeah, and I mean, and big ups to Santana, who blew out his knee early in the match. Hopefully he comes back soon. Yeah, it's just very unfortunate. But yeah, this match is really good.
Yeah, no, good choice. Jordan, you got any thoughts on Blood and Guts or?
I like it. Yeah, it's not on my personal list. I thought there was a little bit of a lackluster ending to it. I feel like it was a little nonsensical the way it ended for how much Kingston wanted blood, and then just go, "Okay, we're gonna tap him out and move on." But I feel like they're leading more towards that. But yeah, I thought it was still a fun match here. I look forward to these matches each year. They should never wear red. That's another point. But yeah, they were pretty messed up, and it was a good match. Also, too, I don't know if I'm old news or not, but R.I.P. James Caan. Anyone know that?
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
news broke earlier today.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely, R.I.P.
I'm old to the news, man. R.I.P. James Caan, man.
Absolutely.
Godfather misery.
I wasn't aware, but yeah, it sucks. But yeah.
Oh, you weren't aware?
Yeah.
Okay, so not old
well,
news.
yeah. So you're not. Yeah. Yeah. Rest in peace to the great James Caan, star of movies such as The Godfather. Yeah. Elf. Brian's Song, and
not Godfather 2. He dead.
he's had a great career.
And let's not forget Santa Slay with Bill Goldberg.
Just ties into that wrestling world. Yeah, sad news coming out today, but so yeah. Number 6, that's what we're on, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to Revolution. We saw CM Punk and MJF, and we also saw Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. I thought this was a good, hard-hitting match. Another great story told. I don't join anyone until I bleed with them, and then we see the debut of one of the best to ever step in the ring, Mr. William Regal, kind of the start of the Blackpool Combat Club, and this has been kind of cool to see that build since that match. So I think this was a great jumping off point. I think the build leading up to it was great. And yeah, I think it's been one of the best things AEW has going. I was kind of hoping, just to go on a tangent, that with Brody King, squaring off against Moxley for the title, that maybe we'd see a Blackpool Combat Club House of Black kind of thing going on, but I don't know if they'll go that way. But maybe it's just a one-off with Brody King and Jon Moxley. But I think it'd be a cool feud. But anyways, Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, hard-hitting. And maybe it's my Bryan Danielson bias because, we're from the same state. And I feel obligated to root for people from my state. That's why I'm such a big Clark Connors fan now, because he's from Washington. And shout out to Swerve Strickland, also from Washington. Shout out to Darby Allin, also from the state of Washington. We've got some good guys here.
How many Defy wrestling events have you been to, Jacob?
How many what?
Defy wrestling events have you been to?
None.
Way to support your local scene, Jacob.
I ride a bus.
That seems like an excuse.
It's a good one. It's a good excuse.
Well, yes, really good match. I told you guys off air that my list, my computer rebooted and didn't save my list, and this was definitely on the original list, and I just simply didn't transfer it to the new list. So I meant to talk about this. Great match.
Everything you know about Jordan's list, forget it.
Yeah, I feel like this was in the 10, if not definitely honorable, but yeah, I definitely do like this one a lot too.
Yeah, no, this was probably an honorable. I really enjoy this match. But I don't. Just shout out, I don't know if you ever if you had a chance to see it, but on Fight after Dynamite, like Malachi Black comes out to console Brody King, but then Sting and Darby Allin come out, and Darby Allin goes to shake Brody King's hand, but Brody King just kind of snubs him. So looks like we're getting that. Looks like we're getting House of Black versus Sting and Darby Allin in the future. So yeah. But yeah, this match is really solid. Yeah, it started the Blackpool Combat Club. It's a really good match. But yeah, just didn't make my list. But yeah, it's you can't go wrong with these two. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Take it, Jordan.
Hey, thumbs up, everybody. We're back to the Forbidden Door here. A match. I told you before I ate my words on this match that I did not expect to like as nearly anywhere as much as I did, and that is Will Ospreay defending that U.S. title against Orange Cassidy here. Yeah, just a tremendously fun match here. They worked so well together. You can see maybe why they picked Cassidy to be on here. The popularity works, and the match quality is there as well. Really fun match. Like I said, on paper was one of the ones where I was like, I would maybe change this, and now I wouldn't change it for the world. Cassidy and Ospreay.
Good choice.
Yeah. I choose to abstain from talking about this match. Richie?
Yeah, okay. Well, speaking of Revolution, there was another match on that card that was really good. I think it was the opener. Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. This match ruled. I love the story being told here. Just love the aggression. It was just a fantastic match. Yeah, Eddie Kingston finally, winning. They did the whole winning the big one, which is interesting because I think back in the day they did. You haven't won the big one with Chris Jericho when Jericho won the WWE title, so it was interesting. It was a great kind of callback to that kind of thing. But yeah, like it's a fantastic match, which is what would have been a really sort of heated, great feud. So yeah. I think this one of the sort of the match I thought I was expecting to be good going in, but it sort of blew away my expectations. I think it's a really good match. So yeah, Eddie Kingston versus Jericho.
No, this is a great match. It's like honorable kind of thing. I definitely thought about it as well. Good match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we could do a top 20 of just AEW matches because they've been really killing it this year. This would be an honorable as well.
Definitely AEW heavy.
Yeah, same here. Definitely skewed AEW.
Oh, -2. -2.
I'm 6 out of 10, I think.
Yeah, that's probably No,
I'm 7. I'm 7 out of 10 AEW.
Oh, I guess one, 2. I guess I'm more split than I thought. I'm like 5.5.
5.5.
Oh, if it's Forbidden Door, just count it.
No, you'll see maybe 6. Or it depends on how you guys look at it, I guess.
I am so confused.
It's not. Okay. It's not my next match because my next match is also from Forbidden Door. It's not this. This isn't the match I'm talking about. This is the debut from Forbidden Door of Claudio when he was the handpicked opponent for Zack Sabre Jr. Of Bryan Danielson. I thought this match was great. I thought it was a great debut for Claudio. I think he had arguably like the greatest debut week in AEW. Like he absolutely killed it in this match. He killed it in another match that I will talk about later on as well. The more I thought about it, I wanted Zack Sabre Jr. to win because I think that, telling that story with Bryan Danielson of like who's the best technical wrestler. I think if Zack Sabre Jr. went into it on a loss, it didn't mean as much. But the more I thought about it, I absolutely loved the result, especially with blood and guts going, just a few days later. I absolutely love the result now, thinking back on it. The crowd was into it. The crowd was very happy to see Claudio back in the ring. I was too. Curious to see where they go with him and Eddie Kingston because I'm not, as up on that as others are probably. I wasn't a big independent wrestling guy or even wherever
they're
they
not
were
even
before
doing
that.
like Ring of Honor. They're talking like Chikara feuds up in here.
Yeah, like that's not my thing at all. I'm very much a basic wrestling fan. I will admit that, very much a basic wrestling fan, but this match ruled.
Bitch.
Basically. So, yeah.
This is a dope match, though. Good pick here. Again, it's kind of like in that Kingston Jericho level for me here. Great match. Good pick.
Yes, solid pick. It can't fault it. It's I think that they obviously people would wanted Danielson, and I think I'll get that. I will get that in the future. But this is if you had to, this is a great sort of consolation prize if you will. They worked really well. I think
Consolation. This is the one. I'm so glad we got the consolation.
Yeah, if this is a consolation, if the 4-way for the All Atlantic Championship is a consolation, man, sometimes the consolation is better than what we would have got.
No, this is solid. It was great to see how over Claudio is as well. Interesting to see what he does next after this. Whether maybe he does stuff in Ring of Honor. Maybe I don't know. It'd be interesting. So this is really good choice.
All right. So that's my what was that, number 5? So we're moving on to number 4.
Yeah, one of the earliest matches on my list here is we got the rematch between Page and Danielson for the title here. I think both matches they've had have been pretty damn good here. Probably the best defenses, I think, of Page's were against Danielson personally.
Yeah.
I think the sequel lived up to the hype of the first one here, and really great television match. The only WWE match I have is a pay-per-view one. There's several AEW ones that are on television. We could do a top 10 televised matches because they really, I think, put on purposely great television as well. So Hangman versus the Dragon, Bryan Danielson.
No, that's a solid choice. If I spent more time on my list, this might be an honorable mention. I'll be honest, I may have forgotten about this one. I've gone and said it before that I wasn't the biggest fan of Page's title reign, but this was definitely a highlight of the reign for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely a great match. Both matches are great, but I think like this sort of just cemented like Bryan Danielson is like the better one of the best technical wrestlers like in the last like 20 or so years. I think it's fantastic. It's interesting. Like this is when he was like turned heel. He hasn't really. I guess he's babyface now. Yeah, he is. But like he's sort of. Would have been interesting to see how far they could push that heel, the persona. I guess. Or maybe it's just a tweener. I don't know. But it was a really solid match.
Yeah. All right. So, Richie, what's your number 4?
Well, my number 4 is actually Hangman and Danielson, the first one. The first time they wrestled. I think this. Again, both matches are great. I just like this a bit better, but I guess it's just, and also coming off the great match Bryan Danielson had with Kenny Omega, I think this is again, and it just shows what he can do. But hats off to and Page too. They put on a fantastic match here, and like you don't.
Richie, I think I'm so glad you have a 2021 match as your favorite match of 2022.
God damn it! I thought that was this year. God, I goofed. I was wondering why you were quiet.
I was looking.
Because I was like, that's not a possibility, my man.
Okay.
I might have even agreed with you if I had to pick between the two. But that's definitely December.
Let's pretend I said 2. Yeah, number 2 was pretty good, wasn't it? Yeah.
Oh, here, let me bring this back up for you, Richie.
Okay, yeah. This match. This is definitely the match I really had in mind at first. Yeah, this is no mistake on my part at all. Oh man, this year's been long.
Don't worry, Richie. We'll edit that out in post.
Oh, thanks.
No one will
Thank
see
you.
that.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, well,
By the way, I love the thumbnail from the last episode where I think like I was looking. It was like you and Austin are paying attention. I was looking at my phone and Jordan had his eyes closed. Oh, what a great thumbnail!
that's YouTube choosing and not me. If it
That
was
was
up
so
to
funny.
me, if it was up to me, and it could be, maybe it will be from now on. This is going to be our thumbnail from now on.
Should be very well.
But yeah, so talk about Bryan Danielson and Adam Page 2 and why that's your number 4 match of the year.
Because it's great. These two have great chemistry. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I wouldn't mind seeing them running it back. I assume maybe they do it because I assume maybe at some point you think Bryan Danielson has to win the actual title, and maybe they didn't make the excuse to run it back. But yeah, it's a great match here. Yeah. I'm a bit flustered because I picked the wrong thing, but yes, but this is probably on par with that. So yes, it's fantastic. There's no mistakes made.
No mistakes. Yeah. My number 4. We're gonna see them run it back in just a couple weeks. It's FTR and the Briscoes. This was a great tag team match. I rewatched it today. Absolutely still loved it as much as the first time I watched it. I didn't watch it live, but I did hear everybody talk about how great of a match it was. And yeah, it definitely lived up to the hype. Yeah, great match. I loved I loved all the back and forth. I loved the end of the match. I loved them showing respect to each other. I really liked that FTR, even though they were the winners of the match, left the ring to let the Briscoes kind of have their moment because they've been an ROH staple for 20 years now almost. Deserving ROH Hall of Famers, absolutely. So
more than 20.
FTR Briscoes.
February 2002. Jay's on the debut show.
Yeah, so over 20 years now because we're past February.
Yeah.
So
although Mark can't wrestle until August.
Right. Because he was too young. But
young.
We're almost at 20 years for both of them. But they're gonna run it back. And hopefully if it's even like half as good as this match was, it'll still be a really good match because this was great. And so I'm sure you guys will talk about it again, so I won't even ask your thoughts on the match yet. Because I know it's not Jordan's number 3. Because I can see his number 3, and his number 3 is
Jacob always has spoils. Yeah, you guys heard about it before. We got the dog collar match from Revolution. Our good friend Phil taking on my even better friend MJF, because he's better than you. One of the best builds, some of the best promos leading up to this, first of all, which I think does add to the match, I'll admit. But the match itself is still, I think, a really great, bloody, well-told story affair. You got the Wardlow turn at the end, which is a nice, great pop as well here. And a great match. Obviously, I'm not trying to knock WWE, but this is kind of the match that I love the fact that AEW will give us. When they give us a War Games, they give us a real kind of War Games match, and we can have a real dog collar match. Like that to me is what wrestling is a little bit of everything. And when it's for a reason too. CM Punk's always said back in the day, even when he wrestled for IWA Mid-South, he wasn't going to bleed just in a random one-off. You know what I mean? But if you give him a reason to, he will. And both men, I think, gave it their all here. One of the best builds and a great match to follow boot. So, dog collar match.
Nice.
Yeah, I like how I think it's cool we have AEW to sort of give a nod to they definitely give a nod to NWA a lot and WCW, and I feel like it's good to have him around because I don't think we'd ever see. Have we seen a dog collar match in WWE for a long time? I don't think we have. I feel it's been it's been a while. So yeah, I like how they bring back these matches, and the fact that AEW's only been around for nearly only 3 years at this point, and we've had multiple. So but this match is obviously we talked about before. This match is really good.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, the FTR Briscoes match is why I said I had like 5.5 AEW because pretty sure Tony Khan's gone on record as saying the Briscoes aren't going to show up on AEW. So
I think
FTR is definitely AEW. Like so.
So no, in the WWE, by the way, they've only had I think 2. It's not a very common thing in WWE at all. Vader and Bulldog in 1997 on Raw, which I'm sure was pretty basic.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And they only did that because his name was Bulldog. You know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll just we'll do your match on yeah, and it'll be a thing. Yeah, I don't know that. Bulldog, but the idea of Bulldog.
Junkyard Dog versus Don Morocco in 1986 on the Prism Network. Not even on like a main show either. So yeah, so it's a not a WWE thing at all, actually, even back in the day.
So you're telling me that the only 2 dog collar matches in WWE featured wrestlers British Bulldog and Junkyard Dog.
They only happened because they thought it was funny because they were dogs.
Shane Road Dog didn't get a shot at that.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
He's changed his gimmick now. But what you could have done it with a big dog, Roman Reigns. But
yeah. But I believe we're on Richie's number 3.
All right. Well, speaking of like WWE, I'll go back there for this one, and it is. I got the feeling it might be on other people's list. It is Hell in a Cell, Cody and Seth Rollins.
We've matched 3 times tonight. Richie's also my number 3.
I like given the circumstances, given but he Cody, had an injury going in, and seeing like how gnarly it was, how's this guy going to go? Why is this match happening? And then just to pull out that performance, given those limitations, is just phenomenal. I think he made himself even more big a babyface than he already is. I think when he comes back, maybe at the Rumble, he'll be a huge. He'll just be a massive pop. But yeah, in credit to Seth Rollins for obviously having to carry a lot of the match, and then Seth Rollins coming out with the polka dots. That's great heel work. Yeah, this match is fantastic given the circumstances. Although I don't recommend they let people do this all the time when someone tears their pec. But because it could be a lot more dangerous than it ended up being. But yeah, although uncomfortable at times, this match was deserving on this list because it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll agree with everything you said. This is my number 3 as well. Yeah, given the circumstances, like this was easily. I think even without the injury, I don't know how the match would have gone, but injury now has nothing to do with just the performance alone. I thought this was the best of their 3. I think they just upped the level every single time they got in the ring. Excellent heel work from Rollins, like you said. I think him coming out in the polka dots was a genius move. Yeah, and they kind of used the injury in the match. I think they told a great story with Cody getting the win. Cody 3-0 over Rollins, and I don't think it hurt Rollins either because I think Rollins is at a point where he can just he can deliver and he can take anything that's given to him and he just makes it work.
This is the perfect example. Whenever people go, "Oh, I'm going to lose again," like that happens on low levels, that happens on high levels. This is the perfect example of wins and losses. At the end of the day, don't matter if you're good. No one is doubting Rollins at all because he lost to Rhodes 3 times in a row. He is still fucking awesome. He's one of the best things going in WWE.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
If you're over to the level of Rollins, it doesn't hurt you to lose. People forget too. Back in the day, in the Attitude Era, The Rock lost a lot, but it never hurt him because he's The Rock. I think, and I'm not saying Seth. I think but Seth. Not saying Seth Rollins is The Rock, but he's at that point where it's losing doesn't hurt him. Because I think he's just he's established himself as one of the not only the best in WWE, but the best in the whole industry, and you know, and he's one of those rare talents that can get anything over. You know, like whether it's the Messiah gimmick, whether it's just like you know the burn it down thing. I think he's a phenomenal talent. And he did lose 3 times, but like I think it. I don't think he needed to win. I think it benefits Cody. I know Cody's going away for a while because he's got to rehab and in a way of surgery. But like, yeah, I think, and we could revisit this match down the line. I could definitely see Cody and Seth for the WWE title at some point. So you know, it's not the be all end all that Seth lost here. I think it was fantastic. Yeah, I think the match was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it'd be great to see Cody return at the Rumble if he's ready by then. But if he's not and he doesn't return until the build to WrestleMania, then I think give the best version of Cody that we can.
I would say
that reveal.
Yeah, if Cody's not ready at WrestleMania, have Seth win the Rumble, and then have him win the WWE title, and then then you can spring off that feud. I don't know. That's what I would probably do.
Yeah, and speaking of Rollins, like it looks like we're getting into a Rollins Riddle, and I think Rollins is absolutely the right choice to elevate Riddle. Because I definitely think Riddle needs the win more than Rollins does at this point. Like Riddle's still on the rise, and Rollins kind of like, hey, I'm really good. So, but that's enough about Rollins and Rhodes. So we will move on to Jordan's number. Are we at number 2?
Yep.
We are at number 2, which, okay. There we go.
Yeah, let's get back to Supercard of Honor. Love to see some Ring of Honor on my list. I'm a huge Ring of Honor guy back in the day, so I'm glad that they are still going to some degree. I hope they get some sort of TV or streaming deal going here so we can get a little bit more congruency as far as the bookings. But we got the dream match that we've been building to for quite a while here between the Briscoes and FTR. Pretty heavy hype, I feel, between the fan base here. And these two teams found a way to live up to that hype here. Briscoes, outside of taking off like a year or so, in I want to say 2004 or 2003, I've been hitting it hard for a very long time. And I think it shows you how good they are. The fact that they've always, kind of been around that top tier in the tag team division. And it hasn't really gone old yet. And FTR proven themselves here, whether it's big companies like AEW and WWE or now Ring of Honor, showing just how good they are. Tremendous match here. Match of the night for that particular night of Supercard of Honor. And there's some good matches too. I mean, we mentioned Bandito and Gresham. Jay Lethal and Lee Moriarty had a good match as well. Even Alex Zane and Swerve had a fun one as well here. But this was match of the night. Tremendously. That's why they kind of just simply went with, all right, but we'll draw the same fucking match we'll draw for the next show. So let's just go with it because I think people are definitely interested in seeing it happen one more time here. I would down to see a Briscoes AEW run if we get that maybe down the line as well. I've always thought I'd love to see them just because we've seen them so long in Ring of Honor. I like that they're doing Impact now, and I'd love to see them get an AEW shot because I know Briscoes and Young Bucks could have a great match. Briscoes and Lucha Brothers sounds like a lot of fun, but anywho, as far as this, fantastic match. That's why it's my number 2.
Yeah, solid choice. Show my hand here.
I wonder. So, I mean, I've already talked about it, so I guess we'll just move on to Richie's number 2.
My number 2, we talked about it before. Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. I think this match was I was like, oh yeah, Orange Cassidy's a random choice to have his Will here. That they work together so well. The comedy aspects of the match works. There's the great chemistry. I think. At the end of the day, I think Orange Cassidy's more over than he was, which is saying something because he's one of the most over people in the company in AEW. One of the most over people in wrestling. I'm excited to see where he goes from here. I don't predict a world title in the future, but I definitely see at some point him winning the TNT title or maybe the Atlantic title or something like that. I think his stock went up, and this match is fantastic, and it just shows that Will Ospreay is one of the why Will Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers in the industry as well. So I mean, I wouldn't be too sad for a rematch down the line. That's how much I like this match. But yeah, clearly that they knew they're onto something with this match, and yeah, I think we were silly to kind of sleep on it. This match was really great, and yeah, it's my number 2.
I'm still not going to talk about it. My number 2 is another recent match. My number 2 is Blood and Guts. I absolutely really loved this match. I thought it was great from start to finish. I think Claudio starting was the right choice for the team. I think it made complete booking sense that Eddie Kingston wasn't going to get in there until Jericho was in there. Absolutely.
I love Kingston's intro too. Just
oh yeah.
I missed that part because hard hitting, bloody. I think the finish absolutely made sense with Jericho not tapping, Jericho not bleeding, because I think that's going to lead into the kind of the blow off match of this. I think we're going to get Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho in a first blood match. I think that's going to be the finish to the feud. And I like that they find ways to keep this feud interesting and kind of inserting Ruby Soho into it now with Ty Conti and Sammy Guevara being added to the Jericho Appreciation Society. This match was great. I think they delivered on the blood. Absolutely. I think all 12 men involved played their part up until Santana got injured. Hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later. But man, AEW has racked up the injuries. I hope they cool it with these all these kind of gimmicky matches. Let's hold off on the ladder matches. Let's hold off on cage matches, stipulation matches. Let's just have some really good wrestling for a month or so, and
probably
let your people heal.
Probably just as well got a bloated roster. So they can fucking they're not.
It's true. Like they do have 800 people on their roster, but
it's only when if someone goes out in WWE that they had to scramble for someone or shit, because they don't make fucking new stars. So solid. Like I said, Blood and Guts is definitely I'm still not a huge fan of the name. I think maybe they could come up with
either. I hate the name actually. To be honest, I hate it.
They could come up with a different name for it, and this doesn't sound like coming out of William Regal's mouth. That blood and Guts doesn't sound as impactful as War Games.
It just doesn't describe what it is. One, it's petty because it's just them get it. They say they don't do blood and guts, and we do. It's petty, and it doesn't explain what the match is. It's just too generic.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going back to the match, I liked the finish on the top because I think it sets up the final blow off between Kingston and Jericho because Kingston didn't do what he wanted to do, and it can kind of add fuel to the Eddie Kingston Claudio thing if that's where Eddie goes next. Hey, you kind of came in and you're kind of you're stealing my thunder here, whatever they want to do with it, however they book it, but I thought this accomplished a lot. I think Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia at the next ROH show can be really solid. I think there's just a lot of good things that came out of this match. I like that it took up the entire hour. I think it's definitely better than the previous Blood and Guts match. Although I really hope they don't go the route of every time we have one of these matches, someone is going off the top because I don't think you should expect that every match. I hope they don't go into that. I haven't done that with Hell in a Cell. I hope they don't do that with Blood and Guts.
I feel like if Sammy's in the match, you can expect that because he just wants to do that kind of stuff. He's just a man. But that's great. It's sort of with only two on at Fighter Fest, which is the Dynamite next week. It's going to be Claudio versus Jake Hager. So we the people.
I loved that they chanted that during the match too.
Yeah.
This crowd was on fire for this match. Oh my goodness! I kind of feel bad for the people that were at the show afterwards, because they kind of they had to clean up the ring for Rampage because they were recording Rampage the same night. I think this is hopefully they learn from this. The next time you do a Blood and Guts event and you're gonna have 9 of the 12 people in the match just get completely bloody, maybe book a live Rampage that week so people aren't waiting for however long for the ring to be cleaned and the cages to be.
I think it's pretty cool.
And you've kind of peaked. You kind of peaked with Blood and Guts. Like, oh no, stick around for a Rampage where we go. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deeb will face 2 unknown people that John met. It's like, okay.
Yeah. So, all right, we are into the number ones, our favorite matches of the year. This is Jordan's number one. Talk about it.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I have 0 WWE matches prior to this, but it's my number one. So WWE, you did something right here. That was the finale of the Cody and Rollins feud here. Again, each time I'll give them credit. Each time they went for a rematch, there was a part of me that was like, I kind of want to see something else. We got Cody back. There's a big enough roster. Do we need to do Rollins every month? But you can't deny that they always put on a very quality match here. With the backstory now of Cody's injury here, they played so well into it within the cage, the cell, told a tremendous story here, kept you invested. One of the best cell matches, the match of the night for that night. And right now, my favorite match, man. I feel like it hooked me on pretty much every level here. And I just thought it was very tremendously done. So it's hard to rank those last few matches here. The tag match and this was hard to rank, but I just kind of went with this one with my heart. The one that really, I think, kind of grabbed my spirits as well. Cody versus Seth, freaking middle name Rollins.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling this is where you were going, just based off how you talked about it during our Hell in a Cell review, and yeah, so not surprised.
Didn't you put it your favorite Hell in a Cell matches like a couple of days after the match?
Yeah, it was like your number 5 or something. It was on your favorite Cell matches, so not surprised. Richie, I have a feeling I know what your number 1 is because you've refused to talk about it.
Yeah. Imagine if it wasn't after all this time, and I just didn't want to talk about it.
My number 1 is Veer Mahan versus Dominic Mysterio.
Dewdrop and Dana Brooke from Main Event
for the 24/7 title.
You guys. I mean, yes, right before. I feel like all our top 3 are just flip flops, but almost. So yes, my number 1 is the tag match from Supercard of Honor, Briscoes versus FTR. This match ruled. Like you guys said it there, but yeah, like it's just a good. If people watching the Ring of Honor show who didn't really watch it, Ring of Honor previously. And it's a good, sort of a good intro to the Briscoes and how awesome they are. And it's just solid. It's just started off the huge run for FTR, and then they deserve it. They're one of the best teams in the last 10 or so years. But Briscoes deserve a lot of credit too. They also after this went and won the Impact championships for a while, and I'm glad they're sort of getting. I'm glad they're sort of getting their due, and sort of almost do like a bigger, to a sort of wider audience. No, this is solid. So number 1.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that they've been doing it for 20 years, and they're not even 40 yet.
Yeah.
You think about how long wrestling careers can go, and they're gonna have at least. I think they could have at least 30 years before they hang it up, if not more. Of just and that's like being on top in ROH, but yeah, not surprised that it's number 1. It's a great match. I I had it 4. Jordan had it 2.
I had it too. Like I said, I could easily flip flop it next week. I love this match too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your 1 and 2 are my 3, 4, and I feel the same way. Like I could flip flop them. I could flip flop my top 4 in any way. But my number 1 right here. This is my number 1. It was Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay, and I think what elevated it is just the fact that I had lower expectations going into it. I was like, Orange Cassidy seems like an odd choice. But man, this match delivered. Like this match blew me away with just how much I was invested. The false finishes, and we talked about it when we reviewed Forbidden Door. Like the false finishes got me almost every single time in like the entire event, and none more than this match though. Like there was a point where I thought Orange Cassidy was winning that title. Absolutely delivered. Stock has definitely risen for Orange Cassidy. I'd like to see him continue that momentum and just put on a string of really solid matches. He had a really good one with Ethan Page. So I hope he continues.
He won with a scoop slap. Just
But,
I like the way
but he
that's
won, and that's what matters because wins and losses do matter in AEW. But not really because FTR is the number 1 ranked tag team, but instead they're not getting the tag team title shot. But that's whatever. So yeah, it's another triple threat. Surprise, surprise. But however, Orange Cassidy, Will Ospreay, number 1. I don't think it falls out of the top 3 by year's end. I loved it that much. Low expectations, but what they delivered was off the charts. So, Orange Cassidy, Will Ospreay, number 1.
Yeah.
So, those are our top 10s, and yeah, we finished right about the 2-hour mark. So, perfect. So I hope you guys enjoyed our lists. Jordan, why don't you run yours down one more time?
Sure thing. Want to share my screen?
No? Okay, now I can.
All right. Coming in at number 10, we got a 6-man tag. Death Triangle taking on House of Black. Double or Nothing. Number 9 from Rebellion and Impact Wrestling. Moose taking on Josh Alexander. Number 8, we have a 4-way to crown the first All-Atlantic champion, Malachi, Pac, Miro, and Clark Connors from the Forbidden Door. And number 7 from an episode of Dynamite, FTR and the Young Bucks. Number 6, John Maxley versus Wheeler Yuta from a Rampage. Number 5, the Forbidden Door once again. Orange Cassidy taking on Will Ospreay. Number 4, not the first but second Page and Danielson match from a Dynamite that was in January. And number 3 for the Revolution dog collar match of CM Punk and MJF. Number 2, we go to Ring of Honor, their only show so far. Supercard of Honor, the Briscoes taking on FTR, them boys, top guys. And number 1, Hell in a Cell, Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins. Number freaking 1.
Nice. All right, Richie, why don't you run down your top 10 one more time?
All right, number 10. Number 10 from WrestleMania, you got Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. From Rampage, you also got John Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. From Against All Odds, just the past couple weeks, Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel, takes the title. Also from WrestleMania, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. From Dynamite, Blood and Guts. From Revolution this year, Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. From Dynamite, Hangman Page versus Danielson 2. Yeah, definitely. That was definitely my first choice. Number 2. Number 3, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins from Hell in a Cell. From Forbidden Door, Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay. And my number 1, Supercard of Honor, FTR versus the Briscoes.
All right, and my top 10, I had at number 10, I had Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn from WrestleMania. Number 9, the recent Money in the Bank event, the Usos versus the Street Profits. Number 8, CM Punk versus MJF and the Dog Collar. Number 7, Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch from WrestleMania. Number 6, I had John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson, also from Revolution. Number 5, I had Claudio Castagnoli versus Zack Sabre Jr. Number 4, I had FTR versus the Briscoes. Number 3, I had the Hell in a Cell match between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Number 2, I have Blood and Guts 2. And my number 1, from Forbidden Door, Orange Cassidy and Will Ospreay. So those are our top 10s. Let us know in the comments what your top 10s are, or just what your favorite match is in general. Tell us why we're wrong for not having Veer Mahan on any of our lists. But I mean, if that's your thing. But yeah, make sure to check out the channel. Lots of stuff going on. Podcasts about movies. Not Jordan and I. Wow. Jordan and I do a countdown on his channel, which he can talk about in just a few moments. Austin and I do a podcast about movies. This past Monday, we did our discussion on the Jurassic franchise. So go check that out. Also on the channel, you can see tier ranker and tournament fights. They just did a Seinfeld versus Friends episode. I'm not sure exactly what they have planned, but check out the channel. It's important to like the videos. It's important to share them with your friends if you like what you hear. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell because we don't always go live at the same time because sometimes we have technical difficulties and I'm late. Definitely not Jordan. So yeah, check all that out. These guys have stuff going on too. Richie, what do you got?
Yeah. So obviously I'm here, but obviously also I'm on the shows on this channel with I like tournament fights and tier ranker. I think I'll be in the next tournament fights. Will be on the Sunday when we talk Austin Piss House the first episode of us top 128. So it should be fun. I think him and I gel a lot on movies. So it'd be interesting to see his list. Speaking of ranking, we talked about before. I'm going to be on there on Saturday talking about top 12 Carl Urban films. So
why would you nominate the only 12 that he's done that anyone cares about?
I know.
Andy Samberg all over again.
So
that's my boy sneaks in at number 12.
It probably will. So that'll be fun. I mean, you can catch me, a lot of the time on, and also on JPO's channel when he gets back up when I'm do trivia and picks and lists and all that jazz. And then tune in to see what lists I come up with for a future episode of Level Maps. So.
Yeah, on a stupid technicality. I'm not bitter at all. Jordan, what's going on in your life now that you're finally getting settled in good old Arizona?
I want to move back. That's what I'm going to do. So we'll be back live on the Peterscope channel next week. We'll have some trivia. We'll do some more countdowns. Richie, I got to have you on for countdown. We'll talk off air. Find a good countdown for us. Reviews, all that fun stuff over there. The Pierce Wrestling as well will be back soon as well. Catch me on here Thursdays, of course, right here, baby. When Jacob's not fucking late.
Sorry.
And
I'll try to be more professional.
No, I woke up at 6:45. Like, what? Fuck, is this 7? And anyway, so yeah, and as well, I love always popping up here on tournament fights and tier rankers and stuff like that. So thank you. And call your mother. She misses you.
I don't know if she does, but we'll see. But if your mother does miss you, call her. Call her. And call Aunt Cheryl too. She's having a hard time right now.
Yeah.
When she calls, answer. Please. And remember, I'm not a doctor. but I don't think the oxygen goes over the eyes.